Happy Sunday, iconic Glamers. My name is Stacey Ann. I love makeup and I'm a huge horror fan.
Welcome to part 2. This week we were talking all things It the TV show, It the movies, Tim Curry, Bill Skarsgård, the whole thing. I went in and used my new palette from Blend Bunny. This is the Haunt Me palette. Is it not stunning? Look at these shades. Oh, it's just gorgeous. Don't forget to like and subscribe. Everything I use will be listed down below. Grab your fortune cookies and let's get into it. It the miniseries was released in 1990, directed by Tommy Lee Wallace and adapted by Lawrence D. Cohen from the Stephen King novel of the same name. It is the first of two adaptations of the novel, the second being the 2017 film and its 2019 sequel. Planning a 4-part 8-hour series, ABC enlisted writer Lawrence D. Cohen to adapt the 1,138-page novel. Lawrence's script condensed the source work into a 2-part 3-hour miniseries that retained the core elements of the novel, but Lawrence was forced to abandon numerous subplots by virtue of the novel's length and the network's time lot restrictions. Production on it began in 1989 and the miniseries was filmed over a period of 3 months in New Westminster, British Columbia. It aired on ABC over 2 nights on the 18th of November and the 20th, 1990, attracting 30 million viewers in its premiere. Critics praised Tim Curry's performance as Pennywise, and for his work on the miniseries, Richard Bellis received a Primetime Emmy Award for Outstanding Achievement in Music Compositions for a miniseries. The miniseries does simplify Pennywise's background compared to the novel. It never fully explains the cosmic mythology of the Macroverse, the Turtle, the Deadlights, and the Law. Instead, it is presented as an ancient, shape-shifting evil entity that awakens every 30 years to feed on children in Derry. The miniseries gives no explicit origin story for Pennywise, the true form that is glimpsed at the end, heavily implying that it is its natural corporeal form. The miniseries omits the novel's cosmic mythology, like the Deadlights, the Macroverse, the Turtle, and the psychic rituals. Unlike the book, the miniseries establishes a consistent 30-year cycle. It feeds on fear, primarily terrorizing and eating children. When confronted or sated, it returns to hibernation beneath the town. The series hints that the child disappearances and murders go back generations. Reports of mass killings and mysterious disappearances occur every few decades. The adults in Derry seem strangely blind, apathetic, or outwardly calm during these violent events, an effect attributed to its influence, though subtly shown. No specific earlier incidents are shown on screen, unlike the novel's detailed backstory. A few months after Georgie's death, Bill and an asthmatic Eddie Casbrook befriend the overweight new kid Ben Haskell. They are later joined by Beverly Marsh, who lives with her abusive father, the comical Richie Tozer, and the Jewish Boy Scout Stan Uris. As they all start to know each other, Ben develops feelings for Beverly, only to discover she has feelings for Bill. Besides being bullied by a gang led by Henry Bowers, the children all encounter Pennywise. The group are then joined by Mike Hanlon, a new kid in town being pursued by Henry's gang. They chase them off with a rock fight, Henry vowing to kill the children, who are dubbed the Losers Club. While looking through Mike's history scrapbook, the losers realise that Pennywise, which they refer to as It, is a monster who awakens every 30 years to devour children. Bill realised It killed Georgie, leading the losers into Derry's sewers to kill the clown. Stan is ambushed by Henry and his friends, Vic Cross and Reginald Belch Huggins, but later are both killed by It. Henry is left so traumatised that his hair turns white. Stan regroups with the losers but is grabbed by It. The losers use It's ability to gain access to their imaginations and use it against him. Eddie imagines his inhaler is full of battery acid, melting half of It's face. Beverly fires silver bullets at It, the losers believing It can kill Pennywise. It escapes down a drain to hibernate. The losers make a vow to return to Derry as adults should It return. Henry, driven insane, falsely confesses to the child murders and is institutionalized. Then we move on to 1990, and Mike is working as a librarian in Derry. It resurfaces and murders several children, prompting Mike to contact his estranged friends to fulfill their vow. Bill has become a best-selling horror novelist, married to a British actress, Audra Phillips. Ben is an architect. Beverly is a fashion designer abused by her co-worker, Tom Rogan. Richie is a late-night television comedian. Eddie runs a limousine service but still lives with his overbearing mother. And Stan is married and he's a real estate broker. All of the losers except Stan return to Derry. Stan's wife later discovered he has committed unaliving in the bathtub, tormented still by Pennywise. Henry escapes from the asylum with help from It to murder the losers, and Audra travels to Derry but is captured by It, hypnotised by the monster's deadlights. Henry ambushes Mike but accidentally stabs himself when Eddie and Ben fight to save Mike. Mike is hospitalised, giving Bill the 2 pieces of silver he retrieved from the sewers. The 5 remaining losers return to the sewers to confront It. Bill discovers that Audra has been taken prisoner but is supported by his friends. They reach It's inner sanctum, find the catatonic Audra and its true form, a gigantic otherworldly spider. Bill, Ben and Richie are entranced by deadlights while Beverly scrambles to retrieve the silver bullets after misfiring them. Eddie attempts to repeat the wound he inflicted on It as a child, but is mortally wounded. Beverly frees her friends, but Eddie dies. The others chase the injured It, fatally ripping out its heart. They remove Eddie's body and a catatonic Audra from the sewers. The losers go their separate ways once again, their memories of It fading away. The losers go their separate ways once again, their memories of It fading over time. Mike recovers, released from the hospital, and remains in Derry, but considers whether he ought to move now that Derry no longer needs a lighthouse keeper to watch over the town in case of the monster's return. Beverly and Ben get married and expect their first child, and Richie is cast in a film. Bill is the last to leave Derry, coaxing Audra out of her catatonia by riding the street on his childhood bike, Silver. Audra recovers and kisses Bill in the middle of town. Not romantic? It Part 1 was released in 2017, directed by Andreas Muschietti, I think I've said that right, with Bill Skarsgård playing Pennywise the Dancing Clown. The film follows the 7 children as they are terrorized by an ancient cosmic beast, which exploits the fear and phobias of its victims in order to disguise itself while hunting its prey. In the movie, it primarily appears in the form of a clown in order to attract its preferred prey of younger children. It deals with themes that eventually became King's staples: the power of memory, childhood, trauma, and the ugliness lurking behind a facade of a traditional small town value. In October of 1988, Bill Denborough gives his 7-year-old brother Georgie a paper sailboat. Georgie sails the boat along the rainy streets of a small town called Derry and is disappointed when it falls down a storm drain. As he attempts to retrieve it, Georgie sees a clown in the sewers who introduces himself as Pennywise. The clown entices Georgie to come closer, then bites off his arm and drags him into the sewer, where Pennywise devours him. The following summer, Bill and his friends Richie Tozer, Eddie Casbrook, and Stan Uris run into older bullies: Henry Bowers, Patrick Hochstetter, Victor Criss, and Belch Huggins. Bill, still haunted by Georgie's disappearance and the resulting neglect from his grief-stricken parents, discovers that his brother's body may have washed up in the marshy wasteland called the Barrens. He recruits his friends to investigate, believing that his brother may still be alive. Ben Hascom learns that the town has been plagued by unexplained tragedies and child disappearances for centuries. He is the target of the 4 bullies, after which he flees and meets Bill's group, who found the shoe of a missing girl named Betty Ripsum. Patrick is killed by Pennywise while searching the sewers for Ben. Then we meet Beverly Marsh, a girl who is ostracized over rumours of promiscuity, and she also joins the group. Both Bill and Ben, and the Flower Pot Men, develop feelings for her. Later, the group befriends Mike Hanlon after defending him from Henry, Vic, and Belch. All the while, each member of the group has encountered a terrifying phenomena in various forms. These include a menacing clown who attacked Georgie, a headless boy, a fountain of blood, a diseased and rotting man, a creepy painting come to life, Mike's parents burning alive, and a fake Georgie. Now calling themselves the Losers Club, they realise that they are all being terrorised by the same entity. They determine that it assumes the appearance of what they fear, awakens every 27 years to feed on the children of Derry before returning to hibernation, and it moves around using the sewer system, which all lead to the abandoned well in 29 Newbolt Street. After an attack by Pennywise and concluding that the clown killed both Betty and another missing boy named Edward Cochran, the group ventures into this house to confront him, only to be separated and terrorised. Eddie breaks his arm while Pennywise gloats to Bill about Georgie. As they regroup, Beverly impales Pennywise through the head with rebar, forcing the monster clown to retreat. After the encounter, the group begin to splinter, with only Bill and Beverly resolute in fighting. Weeks later, after Beverly incapacitates her abusive father, she is captured by Pennywise. The Losers Club reassembles and travel back to Newbolt House to rescue her. Bowers, who has killed hhis father after being compelled into madness by it, attacks the group. Mike fights back and pushes Bowers down the well, and he is presumed dead. The losers descend into the sewers and find its underground lair, containing mountains of child's belongings around which the bodies of missing children float in mid-air. Beverly, now catatonic after being exposed to its true form, is restored to consciousness as Ben kisses her. Bill then encounters Georgie, but recognises that he is Pennywise in disguise. Pennywise attacks the group and takes Bill captive, offering to spare the others if they let it keep Bill. The losers reject this offer and reaffirm their friendship, overcoming their various fears. After a violent battle, they do defeat Pennywise, and it escapes, with Bill declaring that it will starve during its hibernation. Bill finally accepts his brother's death and is confronted by his friends. As summer ends, Beverly informs the group of a vision she had while catatonic, where she saw them fighting the creature as adults. The losers create a blood oath by cutting each other's hands and forming a circle, swearing to return to Derry in adulthood if it returns, and destroy the creature once and for all. Stanley, Eddie and Richie, Mike and Ben make their goodbyes as the group part ways. Beverly tells Bill she is leaving the next day to live with her aunt in Portland. As she leaves, Bill runs up and kisses her. While the first part was about the children, this film is set 27 years later, featuring the adult versions, while the children return for flashback sequences. The film was released on September the 6th, 2019, almost exactly 2 years after the release of the first film. Then we move on to 2016, Derry, Maine. Don Haggerty witnesses his boyfriend, Adrian Mellon, being murdered by Pennywise after a gang of homophobic youth beat them up and throw Adrian off a bridge while leaving the annual Derry Carnival. Overhearing a police scanner and investigating the scene, Mike Hannon discovers it has returned and calls his childhood friends Bill, Ben, Beverly, Richie, Eddie and Stanley back to Derry to honour their promise they made in 1989 to kill it if it ever came back. While others travel to Derry with only hazy memories and a sense of dread, Stan slashes his wrist in the bathtub soon after getting the call. The losers meet at a Chinese diner where Mike refreshes their memory while they are tormented by hallucinations and learn of Stan's suicide. Richie and Eddie do decide to leave until Beverly reveals, ever since she was exposed to the deadlights, she has been experiencing visions of their deaths should they fail or leave the town without fulfilling their promise. Meanwhile, Henry Bowers, who survived being pushed into the well at Nebo House, was arrested for murdering his father in 1989, escapes from the mental institution with help from it. Mike takes Bill to his library abode and shows him via a drug-induced vision that the Shoka Piwa Native American tribe's ritual of Chud can stop it for good. The group go to their old clubhouse and acquiring Stan's shower cap, Mike explains that the ritual requires 7 personal items from their past to be sacrificed and advises the others to find their artifacts by retracing their steps. Following their falling out after first entering the Neibolt house, Beverly goes to find her old home, which is now inhabited by an elderly woman called Mrs. Kirsch, and finds Ben's love letter, still believing Bill wrote it. Fleeing when Mrs. Kirsch reveals herself to be it. Ben recalls another childhood encounter with Pennywise at high school before realizing his artifact is the yearbook page Beverly signed, which he kept in his wallet. Both Richie and Eddie recall their own personal encounters with it while retrieving their artifacts, a game token from an abandoned arcade and an inhaler. Pennywise confronts Richie and taunts him about his sexuality, leading him to decide to leave again. After recalling Stan's bar mitzvah before menacing Eddie in the guise of the leper, but flees when Eddie stands up to it, causing the being to shrink inside. Bill finds his childhood bicycle silver and recovers the paper boat from the storm. Stephen King does make an appearance in the second-hand shop, which is pretty cool. And he also comments on Bill's book that he doesn't like the ending, which apparently nobody did. Bill also recovers the paper boat from the storm drain where Georgie was killed while meeting a boy named Dean, whom they saw earlier at the restaurant and lives in his old house. Talking to Bill, he says he hears voices from the shower drain. Bill regroups with the others before running off to the carnival and into the funhouse after learning it is going after Dean, only to end up watching him helplessly as Pennywise kills the boy before his eyes. Henry unsuccessfully attempts to murder Eddie before attacking Mike, but Richie intervenes and kills him. The losers join a traumatized Bill at the Neibolt house, talking him out of facing it alone, out of guilt. The group descends into the cavern beneath the sewers, Mike providing a rock from the losers' fight with the Bowers gang. As they perform the ritual in the remains of the meteor that brought it to Earth ages ago, the ritual appears to work in trapping the deadlights in the ceiling jar, but they escape after Pennywise emerges from the jar in a giant spider-like form. Pennywise pressures Mike into revealing that it killed those who previously performed the ritual, and Mike scratched that truth off the ceiling jar. Mike assures the others they have a better chance of facing their fears, but they accuse Mike of lying to them. It attacks the losers and places Bill, Ben and Beverly in a nightmarish scenario where they escape once Bill lets go of his guilt over Georgie's death and Beverly realises Ben wrote the love letter, while Richie and Eddie are forced to choose from 3 doors. The 3 doors are really scary, really scary, or not scary at all. And they open the not scary one, and there's this little Pomeranian, and he's so cute. And then he turns into a monster. But I've always wanted a Pomeranian ever since I was a little gal. But actually having a bigger dog, I think I actually prefer bigger dogs. It's really strange. I couldn't imagine having a small dog, because Cupcake, he's huge. And he takes up so much room. But, you can probably snuggle with him, so... Mike gets caught by Pennywise, but Richie manages to distract it. allowing Mike to escape getting caught in its deadlights, and Eddie is fatally impaled after saving him. Eddie reveals how he made it feel small earlier, making the losers realise they can do that by exploiting his requirement of a physical form and how they see it. They begin taunting Pennywise, showing that they are not afraid of any of its forms, and calling the creature just a clown. The mockeries cause Pennywise to surprisingly regress, physically and mentally, into a helpless infant. Mike proceeds to rip out Pennywise's heart so he and the losers can crush it, finally freeing it for good and avenging all of Pennywise's victims, including Georgie. Eddie dies from his injuries, leaving Richie to be traumatized and devastated for a while, and the losers are forced to leave them behind when its death causes a cave-in that destroys the Nebo house. The remaining losers comfort Richie as he mourns for Eddie. Their ordeal ends, signified by the scars on their hands disappearing. After the losers part ways, Ben and Beverly become a couple. Richie returns to the kissing bridge where he had once carved his and Eddie's initials. Mike decides to move out of Derry and start a new life, and Bill begins writing his new story before receiving a call from Mike as he leaves Derry. Stan reveals that in his letter he was too scared to deal with Pennywise again, and his suicide was actually a means to give his friends a fighting chance against it. He asks the remaining losers to live their life to the fullest, which is really, really sweet. He sacrificed himself so his friends would survive. The first clear difference in Pennywise's appearance, he appears more sinister and goes back to how he was originally described in the book. The costume was deliberately unsettling, like a hodgepodge of historical styles like the Victorian, Elizabethan, Renaissance, to suggest Pennywise's timeless nature. Played by Bill Skarsgård, he found playing Pennywise both creatively fulfilling and mentally, physically draining, focusing on playing an ancient evil entity with childlike physicality, using his lazy eye and facial contortions for an unsettling, inhuman look, while ensuring child actors felt safe by breaking character in between takes. He aimed to make Pennywise more than a monster, incorporating unsettling details like multi-era costumes and animalistic movements, even experiencing vivid dreams of the character during filming. Tim Curry is an absolute icon, and his Pennywise is timeless and haunted my childhood. I love how Skarsgård though made the character his own. Tim Curry's Pennywise is more human-like, charismatic, and a bizarre clown. He provides significant depth to the backstories, and the bond of the Losers Club feels strong, considered more faithful to the overall plot and spirit of the novel, despite budget constraints. It relies more heavily on atmosphere, psychological manipulation and suggestion, while Skarsgård Pennywise is more outworldly, sinister and monstrous. The backstories are developed well in Chapter 1, but Chapter 2 focuses less on them and is faster paced. The movies take more creative liberties and major deviations from the novel, While including more smaller details and Easter eggs, it focuses heavily on jump scares, graphic violence, and extensive CGI creature effects. I think there will just always be something unsettling about clowns, their uncanny appearance. The thick makeup hides their natural facial expressions, making it impossible to read their true intentions, which feels threatening, human-like but distorted. Hidden emotions creating distrust, unpredictable behaviour, and obviously negative portrayals in media, like the Joker and Pennywise, which combine to trigger primal unease and link them with horror and evil, despite their intended roles as entertainers, you know. Also, statistics show that women are actually more afraid of clowns than men, which makes sense because we're taught like from a young age to read people and be really aware of our surroundings. Do clowns freak you out? Let me know in the comments. Do you have the ritual of Chud memorised? Because you never know. That's it from me. Next week will be the concluding part, Welcome to Derry, which I'm so excited about. Thanks for watching. Don't forget to like and subscribe. Stay spooky, stay glam, and I will see you next week.